I promised I'd be back with more information on America's Next Great Author, and here I am. Just a note, everything that I'm sharing can be found on their website or in the emails that come from the producers. Anyone can sign up for them. I don't have any secret information. I wish I did. The links where you can find the information yourself are down below and also on the website terribleauthor.com. If you decide you want to shoot your shot and audition for America's Next Great Author, what are you getting into? Well, I'm no attorney, but I have, fairly decent reading comprehension. So here's what I get out of their terms and conditions as of July 30th, 2022. You must be legally present in the United States and eligible to work. That means you can't have overstayed your visa. You can't be here on a visitor visa. Student visas, I'm not real sure about that. Some of them allow you to work, some of them don't. The bottom line is, if you are not an American citizen and you want to audition for this, you need to check with your immigration resources and make sure that whatever visa scheme you're under to be here, that it allows you to be employed basically in the US. Because how tragic would it be to apply, get chosen, and then find out you're not eligible? So yeah, if you're not an American citizen, make sure that you meet the requirements. You must be at least 18 years old by the date you apply. That's pretty straightforward. If you will be 18 before September 15th, you can do this. You may not edit or withdraw your application after September 15th. Okay, I can see where they can keep you from editing your application once it's in. But as far as withdrawing after September 15th, if you're chosen, if you're one of the 100 and something comes up between September 15th and October 30th and you are unable or unwilling to travel, they can't make you do it. Now, they can say, we're going to put you on a list and you're not ever going to be able to be associated with this show in the future. Absolutely, they can do that. But there's nothing in the contract, the way that it's written now, that would have any kind of financial implications if you were to withdraw. So that's pretty unenforceable, but also I understand why they do it, because it's too hard for them. They're trying to get the 100 people and people just keep withdrawing for whatever reasons. So, if you're going to do it, just to be a nice guy, make sure you really want to do it and can do it before you put that application in. You must be able to travel and attend tapings in Newark, New Jersey on October 30th and 31st. Once again, travel, lodging, everything is at your expense. They don't cover anything. They don't even, it doesn't even say if they're going to have craft services. I'm guessing not. So make sure that you have the time and the resources to travel to Newark, New Jersey, October 30th and 31st. There can't be a conflict of interest. That's pretty straightforward, very common. It means that if you or someone in your family is employed by an organization that is part of putting this show together, you're not eligible. You must complete your submission package. You would think that's pretty straightforward, that if there's a submission package that you have to have all of it in order to be considered, but apparently they need to remind you of that. So 250 word written pitch, 150 word written bio, 10 pages of your manuscript, double spaced, and the manuscript must be fiction for young adult or adult audiences, and a 75-second video, 15 seconds of it being an introduction and 60 seconds of it being a pitch. The application process is handled by Submittable. Every author knows about Submittable, and you will have to sign a waiver with your submission. So those are the basic guidelines as to who can enter and how to enter, but there are a few other things that you need to know about. Like, they don't guarantee that all of the applications will be reviewed. So I'm not sure what that means. Is it the first 100 that they receive get in, the first 100 that they like, the first 100 that use the word kitten? there's really no way to tell. And again, this is probably one of those things where maybe they don't even know. And perhaps they plan on reviewing every submission, and this is just in there as another CYA that, in case they get 5 times as many as they expect, then it's okay because they've already told you that they may not review your submission. So all I'm saying is that if you put together your package and it's wonderful and you submit it and you don't get chosen as one of the 100, I'm saying it's probably because they didn't read yours, right? Okay. The waiver that you sign irrevocably grants the producers the first use rights to your pitch, your written sample, your video, everything and anything that is part of this process. It is irrevocable, it is permanent, which I guess irrevocable, permanent, and gratis. So that means that they don't pay you. They don't have to pay you or offer you any kind of compensation or acknowledgement or whatever, and they can use it any way they see fit, anytime, forever. That's pretty common for things like this, but still, it's, you need to know what you're getting into. Even if you're not the winner, you are giving away that little bit of your content for them to use however they see fit. You must agree that you've been adequately compensated by the show, even if you are not one of the ones that gets or not the one that gets the $2,500. So whatever you get or don't get, it's adequate compensation. Again, pretty standard. They can't pay everyone, especially considering this is just an infomercial. So it does bring up one thing, though, that makes me wonder, and maybe somebody out there can tell me, what if you are an author who is also an actor with a SAG-AFTRA card? Obviously, you're not getting paid scale, so can you do that? Is there an exemption for reality television work? I really have no idea about that, and now that that it's in my head, I'm immensely curious about it. So if you know, if there's a reality TV exemption for SAG-AFTRA, or let me know. Now I want to know, are our artist friends, our actor friends being closed out of this because there's no payment? So again, that probably doesn't apply to most of you, but I'm interested. There's also a pretty standard liability release form. So if you get monkeypox Rona Max or you get whiplash in the mosh pit, or any other number of things that could befall you, then you're releasing the rights, but you're also saying that anything will be handled individually. It specifically prohibits any kind of class action mediation. So if something did happen, then you could not band together with the other people and have a stronger case. Each case would be litigated or actually mediated separately. But what I think most authors are going to find most interesting is this little line in there that basically says, hey, there's a lot of ideas out there, and if somebody associated with the show happens to come up with the same idea that you pitched for the show, don't worry about it, it just happens. Okay, so that does happen. I mean, Jojo Moyes and Kim Michelle Richardson wrote basically the same book within just a couple of months of each other. There was a big to-do about it at the beginning, that, who took whose idea. But when they got in and they investigated it, and they actually both just came up with this idea and wrote essentially the same book at the same time. They even found a third author that had a book that had a lot of similarities to the books that they had written. So it happens. However, I also know someone who was workshopping a book, and their idea, very specific ideas, were taken by someone in that group, and it wasn't pretty, okay? So it happens. That happens too. Not very often, thank goodness. And yes, I know for a fact that happened. I was a witness to that. No, I will not say any more about it because they've settled it But the point is, it happens. Sometimes people steal intellectual property. It's ugly, but it happens. Now, I'm not saying that we should hide our work. Writers need to share their work. That's how it gets better. I mean, I have a group that we meet. I'm actually in a couple of different groups. One group meets every Wednesday for read and critique. My other one, we do every other week for a read and critique. And those are important because those groups, they catch stuff that really, let's just be honest, is not very good. So they make your writing better. We need that. We need to share with each other, and we shouldn't be afraid of that. That said, as a society, we don't really take intellectual property rights that seriously. You know, with piracy, with book piracy, a lot of people just go, oh, I don't worry about it. What? They're stealing your stuff. You know, people will download movies or television, whatever, before it's available. You know, the people that will go in and they'll record the movie the weekend it comes out, and then it's all over online, and it's ugly. It's just ugly. And I think as authors, as artists, we need to take a stronger stand on intellectual property rights. That's all I'm asking for them to do. They can't say, we're going to totally protect your idea. What they can do is say, we are going to take steps to secure your intellectual property. I mean, just even if it's nothing more than just kind of, you know, saying what we want to hear, even if it's not enforceable, I would like to hear it, because I think as a whole, we don't take it seriously. And this is an opportunity for some pretty well-known people to say, hey, intellectual property rights matter. Okay, so moving away from that, what if you have an agent? Are you eligible to apply? Yes, with a few caveats. Your book cannot be, whatever book you're submitting, cannot be under contract anywhere. Obviously, it cannot already be produced. This is for new work. However, if it's a sequel, if you have one book or more that's already been produced, and then this is a sequel, new work to that already published work, you can submit that as long as it's not under contract. So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what agents think about this. I may actually just have to give a few of them a call and see what they think about it. Yeah, how does that affect the agent-author relationship? But anyway, good news is, if you've got an agent and you've got work that's not under contract, yes, you are free to submit it. And another question I'm getting is whether or not being one of the 100 chosen will affect your chances of being on the show should it get picked up and actually be a full season. Well, they don't really address it, although they do say that one of the benefits that you get is early notice of future casting. So that leads me to kind of believe that maybe they are thinking that, well, now we'll have this pool of people when we get ready to do our next one that we can, you know, oh, do you remember that pitch? Do you remember that person with a great backstory? Alternatively, they could decide that they don't want anything to do with the people that did that were in part of the pilot. They could say, wash it all clear. We don't want that 100. I don't think they'll do that. I think that you probably will have a little bit of a lead if you are one of the 100, if they actually go ahead and make a complete season, but it doesn't really say. We don't know for sure. Now, also for the pilot, as it was mentioned, they want fiction that is for young adult or adult audiences. That's it. They don't want nonfiction. They don't want middle grade. They don't, they have a whole list of what they don't want. However, the plan is that if this gets picked up and they do multiple seasons, each season will focus on a different type of writing. So there may be a middle grade season, there may be a science fiction season or a nonfiction season, but that's something down the line, because first they have to film this pilot and take it and get people interested so that they can sell a season. The last thing that you need to know, and I'm going to read this because I want to make sure I get it right. They want to cast 6 charismatic finalists from vastly different places and backgrounds. Okay, that sounds good. That actually sounds amazing. However, the way that they've got this set up right now is not going to do that. They're asking 100 people to travel to New Jersey on their own dime. That means you're going to get people who either already live reasonably close to New Jersey, to Newark, New Jersey, and can get there, or the people who have the time and the means to travel to Newark, New Jersey for a day or two on the off chance that they might be the one. And the thing is you are not going to end up with a demographically diverse group of contestants. That is the reality. As always, drop your comments and questions below or through the comment form at terribleauthor.com. I'm going to be watching this one closely, so I'll be back with even more updates. And until then, I'll do the research so you don't have to.